Okay, be honest. How many times have you played a game and thought, I could make a better game than this? Over the next few issues, we're going to take a look at the process of game design and talk about how designers make games and the skills that they use. You'll get a better understanding of the work that goes into your favorite games and a better understanding of the skills you'll need if you decide to make the quest for that better game your career. Now, for all you hands-on gamers out there, a company called H-Tech has created their Game Designer series that lets you start to build your own games at home using your PlayStation 2.
H-Tech launched the Designer Series in year 2000 for PS1. This year, 2002, we've just launched Fighter Maker 2 for PS2. Next year in 2003, we have Color Quest and RPG Maker 2. All of them exclusively for PS2. The one thing that they all have in common is the more the player puts into any of them, the more tangible results they're going to have to show for their work.
Fighter Maker 2 is perfect for the fans of games like Virtua Fighter or Tekken. What makes Fighter Maker 2 unique is that you can design not only the look of your characters, but all of their moves as well.
Everything from the skin tone, hair color, no hair, all the costuming choices, it's all customizable by the player. And then the next step they take is to assign all the martial arts moves for the characters. The main tools are the sequence editor and the animation editor. The sequence editor allows you to set preset moves within 6 different fighting techniques. But in the sequence editor, you decide, do you want to use the preset moves or do you want to invent your own? The animation editor shows you how to take it frame by frame through the motion to see how it flows with the character. And everything's in 3D models, so it really looks realistic, and all the moves are timed to the human body and what it can do. You also design where the camera angle is. Would the fighting look better side by side, the traditional 2D style, or do you want the camera to flow around while you're fighting?
Once you've created the moves, you assign them to buttons, create combos, and determine damage values.
The sequence editor is taking the animations that were created in the animation editor and attaching values to them. So, did this punch cause X amount of damage or X plus 5? Is this a special combo move? If it is there double damage? Is there triple damage? That's all done in the sequence editor.
And you can also combine the 2 animation in one as a combo hit, like a 1 punch, 2 punch, or 1 punch, 2 punch, 3 punch. And also you can set what button combination you have to use to execute the motions.
Once you've learned how to animate a 3D character in Fighter Maker 2, you can move on to RPG Maker 2. Now the challenge is to design an entire game.
Now you're going from John Woo to an entire animation studio. Actually, it's closer to what we do here. You're producing a game from scratch.
Building a game from the ground up might seem a little overwhelming, but RPG Maker 2 helps ease you into it.
So first, I want them to create small RPG from the beginner mode. If it's one town, like 1 caves and 1 huge boss, this kind of small RPG, and I want them to learn what the steps they should take to complete a game. Then back to the beginning and then select hard level, which means they can create all the things from the scratch, even the buildings, field, and magics, monsters.
You're creating a planet here. Imagine a ball of water, okay, the Earth, before any land masses. That's where you start. You build the continents, the shapes, the islands in relation to the main mass, and then you get closer, closer, closer. You put in the buildings, you build the cities, the villages, the hamlets, and then you populate them. Every single thing has a tool unto itself. So it's your world to design like that. How detailed you want to do is up to you, the designer.
Then go to the programming side, which is called event editors. And then creating event. If you touch this box, what's gonna happen? The box is gonna open, or the box is gonna explode, or monster is gonna pop it up, or this kind of things you have to create.
In RPG Maker 2, you're in charge of not only all the items and events in the game, but all of the dialogue as well.
Hopefully you've previously written it and you have the scripting all set up beforehand, and you're not just winging it.
our title is now compatible with USB keyboard. So instead of using the software keyboard inside and choosing each letters, now plugged into the USB keyboard into the PlayStation 2, that makes much easier than used to be.
After completing the dialogue, you then move on to the combat system.
You never see your army or your character, so it's like first-person view for all battle sequences. But what you get to do is design where your enemies are in relation to your point of view. So is it face on, is it slightly above? And then when you throw in the special effects, if I'm attacking with magic, I get to design the special effects for, do I do a fireball that launches straight out from me to you, or does it sweep around and blast?
These H-Tech games are not only fun, but they're also a great way to start learning game design skills.
I think it really helps to understand, to get into this industry, what goes behind making a good game. You know the mechanics, you know the rules, but how do you make it go to the next level of greatness? You really have to get the experience somewhere. So by giving them just a blank slate and as many memory cards as they need, they can create something pretty terrific. It really opens up a whole universe for you. I think it's going to start the next wave of education, interest, and just all-around buzz for the industry and how accessible it is now. I'm not calling it a mini dev kit, but it's close.
These games can definitely give you a taste of the world of game design. In the next part of our series, we'll look at some schools that specialize in teaching the things that game designers need to know. Be sure to catch that story next month. Many of us dream of making video games for a living. How can you make the dream a reality? How can you learn the skills you'll need to win a job on a development team? Can taking courses in video game development help? First, we asked two executives who hire development teams what you're going to be up against.
In hiring the 22 artists for the team, we probably looked at over a couple hundred sort of resumes, demos, websites, and things.
But last year there were 2,000 formal applications for 60 intern slots.
These are tough odds. What can help you beat them? More and more colleges and schools are now offering courses and even degrees in video game development. But a degree from one of those schools can be quite an investment of time and money. How much will those courses help? For some students at some schools, it's just the edge they need.
Students now are going through school, not only are they playing games in their spare time, but they're building game-like assets in art school. They're building game programs as thesis projects in computer science, and they're showing up on our doorstep ready to make dramatic immediate impact and ready to be leaders within about 3 years of one of these $10 million projects.
At the Art Institute of California at San Francisco, the game program includes courses like game design, game prototyping, scripting, math, logic, and animation. At Cogswell Polytechnical, also near San Francisco, some of the unique exercises push your creativity to another level. For example, to focus on 3D character development, these students made sculptures of themselves as animals.
I was shocked to learn that in order to draw, you go through what is mostly an anatomy class. You have to learn the bone structure of a human, and the muscle structure, and then you learn kind of the rendering of the details, like the hair and everything. So it takes a lot of work.
Students discover what a nightmare it is to make a game. How much time and energy and commitment, how much soul-searching evenings when you have to face getting your character into work inside the game engine or going home to get 2 hours sleep before your classes start again the next morning.
The Game Art and Design program originated from talking to the industry and getting feedback from them that they were looking for students that had an understanding of the game process and strong teamwork.
And then show her full, then she burps, then she covers him out.
It's crucial to get experience working in a team environment. To work by yourself at home is an entirely different experience. You have to learn in a team environment to get along with everybody and make sure that you hit all your milestones and all your important deadlines.
It's amazing how much gets done when people get together and they focus on what they're doing. And the energy, the synergy just starts to take over.
And you'll have students here up all night for days in a row, and everyone's just trying to motivate each other, like, come on, just a few more hours, you can do it, you can finish it.
What we've found works best is to go to places that have strong computer graphics programs and strong CS programs and work with the professors, and they can start identifying students who have an aptitude but also motivation, and then we can kind of set up a pipeline.
I had people from Electronic Arts come down and give a presentation on how to do demo reels, and we dragged them into the presentation of what the Game Club had done. They were just agog. They sat down literally and said, how the hell did you do this guy? This is fantastic. And they went one by one to all the students. So they finally got up to Ashley and they said, Ashley, you've done a great job with these people. We want you to apply for an internship over at Electronic Arts. And he said, well, I don't think my artwork's that good. They said, the hell with artwork, we want you to be a producer.
That was probably the most important thing they were looking for, is someone that was able to drive a project from beginning to completion. You know, motivating, getting together with a group of people and driving a project.
To find talent for his art team, Julian Lau helped teach a course at San Francisco's Academy of Art, where 2 students distinguished themselves from the rest of the class and now work for him.
One of our animators that we hired from a game school was Jacob Patrick. And one of the great things about looking at his animations and things that he learned and what he did at school was his attention to detail, the movement of the characters, the weight behind it, whether it was moving a heavy object, you know, picking up something, running.
From the Sony animation class, I, as well as the other students, learned the importance of using reference. What they were looking for is to be able to find realistic human movement. Many of us think we know how a run looks in our head, but once you actually look at it and try and study how the body actually moves, learn that it could be a lot different than you think.
Emilio came through a different route by just submitting his demo reel. And he was very persistent. And we took a look at his reel and everything and really liked what we saw, brought him in.
Whoever is going to hire you needs to see how you modeled. It's not just the final object, it's how you created it that it's important, and the steps and the time you took, the details.
Even if you take development courses, the chances of actually getting a job on a real team are slim. We asked how to improve your odds.
Identify your talent. So whoever you are, whatever you want to do, research the industry, understand exactly what it is you want to do. Do you want to be a modeler? Do you want to be a coder? Find out exactly what you want to do, where your talent lies, and then focus on that.
What correlates well with success is the ability to learn. People who can process negative and positive learning, and people who can communicate and listen to their peers turn out to be real valuable.
Will you be one of the next generation of game developers? How will you make your mark on video games?
In 2010, the platforms we create for are going to be 100 to 150 times as powerful as the PlayStation 2. That is just about unimaginable. Kids coming out of school today all have the flexibility to imagine it. They've grown up interactive and going to have richer imagination because of it. And they're going to be the people who can figure out what to do with 100x the hardware power.
Are you up for this challenge? Almost 200 colleges and schools have courses on developing video games. Check the internet for more information. Next issue, we'll look at another way people get their foot in the door of the video game industry, through the test department.
A lot of you dream of making video games for a living. Last issue, we looked at how college courses in game development can help you get ready to join a team. This issue shows you another useful approach. It's hard to get into the video game industry, but this is a door that opens for more people than any other. It leads to the Quality Assurance or QA department, sometimes called TEST. It takes a lot of people to thoroughly test a game. That's why as many as 1 out of every 3 jobs in a development company can belong to a tester. PlayStation's headquarters often has over 200 testers at work. What do they do?
Our test department consists of, some of the best gamers out there. They know what makes a fun game.
And so they use that expertise and that experience to really add to the products that they work on. They receive the title when it's in its early stages of development, basically when the game is first playable. Construct test plans to look for defects within the game. You know, any game can have 500 bugs for the complete title and go as high as 6,000. What our QA analysts are really striving to do is put forth the best product and maintain Sony's high reputation of quality products. But our QA team doesn't just QA the titles for bugs, but they also try to make sure that the fun factor is there. They provide commentary and feedback on the title, which in turn, really added to the fun gameplay of the title. I think one of the most unique aspects is that we see titles 6 to 8 months before the general public sees them. We get to play them thoroughly. We get to test them thoroughly. We get to know all the secrets about the game. Games have gotten bigger and more complex in the past few years, and a number of them can now be played online. As a result, the QA department is developing new kinds of expertise.
We're trying to take the concept of a street tester, somebody who comes, just pounding and playing on the game, to somebody who really has a good technical grasp of how the game comes together. And so we're trying to challenge them and train them to basically become, in essence, a low-level engineer of QA. They're digging into the game itself. We are starting to work with development kits, opening up the games and working with the development team to see coding, to see graphics, wireframe. It's exciting, it's challenging.
If you don't love video games, then you need not apply.
I get to think games 24/7, which is something I do anyway.
I mean, it's not like flipping burgers or anything.
Get to see the new game and test it before anybody else get to.
Take a game you don't like, now play each level 100 times on a different setting, switch controllers, and pull the memory card out and play it another 100 times. There, now you're a tester.
You will be playing video games in and out all day, every day, overtime, double time. Your life will become video games.
Most of the things that are tested is your patience.
Bagel Fridays. Free bagels every Fridays if you get here early.
Everything is about breaking the game.
And you kind of turn, you look at the guy and you're like, my God, I can't believe they're paying us for this.
I like breaking things and I like watching my coworker Jason do the bug dance.
You get to see things firsthand while they're being made.
It's a really, really good opportunity for you to get your foot in the door.
Anything from a lead tester to a producer into graphic design and a game design and a level design, it's an amazing opportunity.
My official title is Senior Producer of the Multimedia Department, and our primary responsibilities are the demo discs that you find either in the kiosks at places like Toys R Us and Walmart. Our main project, though, is what you're watching right now, which is the demo disc that gets packed in with the official PlayStation magazine. And you might even recognize a certain voice. Yeah, I do all the narration on the OPM DVD, as well as produce it. I went to work as a tester, and that's how I got my first real foot in the door. We're usually working closely with the producers or the associate producers on different games, and you could see how a game really comes together.
I'm a designer for Sony, and basically I will come up with the content of the game, the actual design of the game, what you're doing, what the story is. I actually started as a tester, and I worked my way up through the ranks. I tended to work really close with the developers. I would ask a lot of questions. I was extremely enthusiastic. I really wanted to know what was going on, what was broken, how was it broken, and this tended to get me really close to the development team. Then one of the teams had asked, hey, what do you think about coming down and being a designer on our team? I was like, yeah.
Alvin Pedroso has done what many of his colleagues dream of doing, getting his idea for a game approved for production. It's Rise to Honor, the upcoming action combat title from Sony.
Rise to Honor started from a conversation between myself and our director of product development. And I just said to her, this is the game I want to make. And after our initial conversation, she said, roll with it. And after about 2 months of really just going back and forth with different ideas and writing things up, we pitched it to our president and got it approved. Rise to Honor has gone from just me working on this title to about 43 developers now. It was enormously valuable to be a tester. I think one of the biggest assets that I gained was how to communicate a vision and get people to rally around that vision.
This is the door to the quality assurance department. For many, it's a way into the industry. For some, it leads on to a development team. And for a lucky few, it's a path that helps them have a game idea published. But for all, it's a chance to work in a field they really believe in. Somewhere a door like this one might be waiting for you.
I love video games. It's a passion for me. If I'm not making games, I'm playing games. You know, when I was younger, my parents would always say to me, they're like, stop playing games, go outside, do something else. You know, now my parents are like, oh, my son makes video games. So they think it's all cool.
Next issue, Dev 101, is a mini tutorial. You'll get to see the winning drawing from the PlayStation Underground's Make Your Own Character contest. Then you can watch how that drawing gets turned into a working 3D game object.
So how do character designers take concepts from Sketchpad to video game? We decided to hold a Make Your Own Character contest where the winner would have a chance to see his or her creation immortalized in, well, pixels. Over 300 entries poured in, and our 5 judges, with their backgrounds in art direction, 3D modeling, programming, and production, spent an entire day going over each and every one. But when the desk cleared, it was ERAD, designed by Ron Marchigona of Bethesda, Maryland, who was the victor. In this segment, our 3D modelers will bring ERAD to polygonal life through a series of steps.
The first thing we did was we scanned this image and brought it into Photoshop to prepare it for 3D. I took the scan and inverted it to make it easier for me to model in 3D Studio. I started with the leg, and essentially what I did was I took a box and I made it transparent enough so I could see the lines behind the box. By simply pushing and pulling vertices, I'm able to manipulate the box and make a totally new shape. Vertices are basically points in 3D that actually trace the outline of polygons, and polygons are the big red and gray filling between vertices. And then we do the same thing with the other segments. All the segments had a unique model made from a simple box, and as you can see, we have a completed leg. We hide the background so we can see what it looks like with all of its polygons. And we see that, yeah, it looks a lot like the drawing. And then I went ahead and started defining more of the shape of the actual head based on the background drawing here. I basically just started with a simple box like before, and started to make the front of the nose by pushing and pulling vertices. I started making the faces for the cockpit, and I did a simple extrusion of the faces. And as you can see, they grow to give them volume and depth. And then I did a little bevel, just so it's got some roundness to it. Then I started working on the turrets by simply doing the same thing I did with the cockpit, which was taking this initial shape here and just extruding and rotating to build basically this. And then I created the joints for the legs to fit, and that way the leg will have something to fit in. And if we move the dragon to where this drawing shows, he's pretty darn close. And here we have the finished head, and as you can see, without smoothing groups, the model looks kind of marshmallowy and soft, and we don't want him to be soft. We want him to be really hard-skinned, armored vehicle that's allowed to take some damage as well as give it. So we added smoothing groups to it. We built the rest of the dragon the same way we built the head and the legs, simply by building boxes, pulling and pushing vertices, and turning and rotating edges and scaling. Now the nice thing was that the legs were really similar to each other. So what we did was we simply just copied them and we mirrored them to the other side. We did the same thing with the wings, and here we have the finished model without textures. Here he is in wireframe mode. Nice, pretty clean model. After the model's been built, we start to texture it. So in order to make them look real and used, I had to go ahead and add combat scoring like carbon from explosions and battle scars and grease in the joints and random dirt details. This is the final textured version, and it's ready to be animated. You'll notice that the wings aren't filled in because the programmers fill them in with programmatic polys that are able to slide and bend and stretch according to the animation of the bones of the wing. Now that we have our initial position, we begin to create keys for each skeletal joint. Here are the keys that I've created, and here is the in-betweens that the computer created for me. Nice fluid animation. So the process from drawing through animation took close to 60 hours to complete. Here's ERAD with his final animations, ready to be exported to the programmer.
So my job is to take the max file once it's complete and export it and generate some code that does some special purpose animation that enables us to control the final model once it's over on the PlayStation side. So now we can control it just like we would a character in a game. For example, I can move the camera around and look at it from different angles, and then I'll press X again and it will land back on its little pedestal there. Something else that we've added in is the ability to fire the weapons and have some sound effects. So those are the kind of details that we add in after the fact that sort of bring a model to life.
There you have it. Start with any idea, turn it into vertices, triangles, and textures, then move it using intense mathematical computation. You can go anywhere you want. Our time spent building ERAD was so much fun, we decided to build a few more of the runner-up designs from the contest. What do you think? This is the development world of PlayStation 2. Our series, Dev 101, has shown you 4 ways in the last 4 issues to get a taste of it. Where you go from here is up to you. But as you know, there's a world of other gamers out there hungry for the next great title, and it might just come from you.
Turn right heading 350, join the Gorman 142 radio com, maintain 12000. Change to Unicom 135.0 approved. Flight 122, taxi to your gate. Hangar 1.